Amazon owns the third largest advertising platform in the world. That's why nowadays Amazon sellers must be smart when they play the advertising game on Amazon. I invited Jason Magee, the director of seller partnerships at Teikametrics, who will be sharing with us how to make your advertising strategy unique, as well as what parts of your process you could automate and the solution you can use for that. Hello, Jason.
Agustus, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, thank you. I'm happy to have you here. So could you shortly introduce yourself? What company are you representing and what do you do and how do you help Amazon sellers?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Jason Magee. I'm the Director of Seller Partnerships here at Teikametrics. Teikametrics, we are a data science company that uses big data to help sellers and brands who are selling on Amazon to optimize their business for total profitability. So essentially what we are known best for is utilizing big data to automate the advertising process on Amazon. So we are actually one of the very first adopters of that. We are one of the world leaders in it, especially it really comes down to the echelon of folks who help build the technology and all the smarts that went in from the folks who make the team as great as it is. So me in particular, my job is to do essentially two things. My job is to find out and understand the needs of our sellers and ensure that if there's something that Teikametrics doesn't do, a part of our platform, that we connect them with the right solutions to make sure that they can achieve profitable growth. And then number two is, we understand that advertising on Amazon is mission critical for a lot of these brands or any brand who's selling on Amazon. And there are a lot of other companies and solution providers and tools out there that don't touch advertising. So our job is to be a complementary solution to help those sellers, those companies provide their sellers with the solution to scale their business on Amazon through ads.
Yeah, so it's great to have a knowledgeable person about Amazon advertising here because recently Amazon started to push a lot their advertising platform. So obviously,
my goodness.
Yeah.
Boy, look, it's so funny. Like you look at what Amazon did in retail and it completely just changed the way retail existed, back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And they're doing that again with the advertising platform. I mean, they're taking direct market share away from Google. They're now the third largest advertiser behind Google and Facebook. And they've essentially created a $10 billion industry over the last couple of years. And it's the thing about Amazon is there's a really good quote. I'm actually going to read it. It's from Marketplace Pulse, which we all read, but it says the internet makes it possible for any product from anywhere in the world to be on Amazon, but how do shoppers find your brand? And it's advertising. It literally is becoming a pay to play marketplace. So it's been crazy to see this meteoric rise.
Yeah, and while looking at advertising data is not really enough. Do we have to do something more?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. So, I mean, it all comes down to your why. I mean, just advertising for the sake of advertising isn't why we do it. The whole point of advertising is to either increase scale, increase market share, drive profitable sales and growth. So, I mean, everybody wants to achieve all those things, but you really have to take into consideration a lot of other things, not just advertising. You should look at where your product is in its life cycle. Are you launching a brand new product, or are you liquidating a product, or do you have a very mature product where you want to sell it purely for profit? And for those reasons, and then taking into account where your product is in its life cycle, and then actually the purpose of, what your gross margin is, those two things combined then dictate how you advertise. So an example is, Augustus, let's say you and I were launching, these shirts on Amazon straight away. Let's say we have a 30% market gross margin on these shirts. We need to make sure that we are advertising, maybe even at a loss. So we're setting our ACoS targets or our ad spend, knowing that we're going to lose per sale. But the whole point is to get market share. So that's wildly different in terms of how you set your budgets if you want to make sure every one of these you sell is profitable. You know what I mean? So if you just go and say, oh, I want to advertise, you're not looking at the full picture.
All right. So now everyone, on Amazon targeting advertising platform, they try to promote their products through paid ads. So how to stand out from this crowd?
Yeah. Well, again, I think it really comes down to understanding what your goal is, right? And I think again, so my perspective is what is your goal of advertising? Therefore, that dictates how you spend your money. And then the other thing too is Amazon provides a lot of data in terms of how successful your advertising is. Then you actually need to act on that data. So whether you do that yourself and you want to download multiple reports and cross-reference them, you could absolutely do that. And there are a lot of folks and companies who do that very successfully. There are also tools out there who do that for you. But an example is, let's say you want to look at a campaign structure. Amazon allows you to run automated campaigns. What that means is they will go to your listing, pull keywords from your listing, and actually recommend and test keywords for how successful they are. Now, you need to be running automated campaigns, but then it's not just running them isn't enough. You then need to pull that data and understand, okay, these keywords are working for me, these keywords aren't. Then you need to go one step further and double down on those keywords that are winning and driving the most amount of money, and the ones that are driving traffic and not leading to any sales, that's wasted ad spend. You need to make sure you're eliminating that spend as well. So step one is the way you really win is you need to understand, even though you're competing with other products, you need to understand what's working for your own products and use the data to really do that. And Amazon has a lot of this data. It's not the best at, making it very user friendly. That's why companies like us exist. But at the end of the day, it's not as simple as set it and forget it. That strategy will not work unless you're using like an automated tool in the back end. But still, there's a human element that you need to focus on and you need to act upon in order to win.
Are there any key metrics which Amazon sellers should look for when they are setting up their advertising campaigns and analyzing them?
Yeah. Well, everybody knows ACost, which is your advertising cost of sale. That's the relationship between how much you're willing to spend on advertising to get a sale via advertising. So when you think about I think the easiest way to think about it is, what is your profit margin on a product? My profit margin is 30%. And when I say profit margin, I would recommend you look at what is your landed cost, the cost per unit, the cost to ship it, and then pull in Amazon's cost. What is the commissions, the storage fees, your advertising fees, I think is a cost as well. That left over, that is your margin. If you have a margin of 30%, that should be the benchmark that you use when you decide how you set your ACost. So if you want to make sure that every sale you make is profitable, you need to make sure that your ACost is set at 30% or less. That way, every sale you get, it's actually a profitable sale for you. So that's one very important one. The second one is one that a lot of folks calculate manually, and it's one that we've actually coined and created and defined in the market is TACoS, which is total advertising cost of sale. The goal of advertising isn't to get advertising sales, it's to leverage advertising to drive organic sales and growth. That's what the TACoS measurement is. It shows the relationship between your ad spend and how it's affecting your organic sales as well. That's the holy grail of what you should be focusing on. So I know it's a long answer, but number one is making sure that the targets you're setting from an ACoS perspective are in line with your product, the margins, and where it is in the growth cycle. Number two, making sure that it's actually driving what you want, which is organic growth and revenue, not cannibalizing sales you would get otherwise.
And you mentioned a little bit a few minutes ago that it's important to automate these processes when you set up advertisings and analyze them. So your company provides such solution. Can you tell a little bit more about your solution? How is it innovative? How does it stand out from all other PPC tools?
Yeah. Well, when you automate, there are a few things you can automate. That comes out of two areas. One is, instead of you cross-referencing reports and going through the haystack to find that needle or that gold nugget, like how can you actually cut through the data and have a solution clear all the clutter and then give you actionable bits that you can actually then leverage to your advantage. So that example would be negative keywords. What keywords are driving clicks to your product, but they're not converting and they're not leading to sales, unless there's a strategic reason you're doing it, such as you want to actually make sure that you're taking up real estate from a competitor. That's just wasted money. That's number one. Number two is, how are you identifying the keywords that are really, really working within the automated campaigns and then dropping them into manual campaigns? That process can be automated as well. Then if you look at your top performing keywords within your manual campaigns, they're not all created equally, and there's different ways to target. You have broad search, which is like, I type in boots and it brings in men's, women's, kids, every size. Then you have phrase, which is like men's boots, which could be like men's boots size 10, black men's boots, etc., which it further refines what you're looking for, but it also still casts a wide net. Then there's specific keywords, which is exact matches, which is men's boots size 10 black, which is you're going to get less traffic, but the conversion is going to be through the roof comparatively if that matches your product. So using a tool that can do all four of those things wins hours and hours, if it's done properly, of your day back. Then the other one, which is where automation really comes in, is how you bid. So we've actually created a price aware bidder. It's not a rules based bidder where you just set up a few rules and then run its course. It's value based, which means that we pull in a lot of the context from your data. We understand your sales velocity, your conversion, both on the advertising side, but also organically through your organic sales and how you price your goods. We then grab this data and then we go to work for you and tell you what you should be bidding and actually go and bid on that for you. That way you're not doing it yourself. That's why sellers who've been using our tool, I mean, on average, we've done the study. If you're properly managing the PPC component on a weekly basis, it should probably be spending 5 to 10 hours a week on this. We eliminate that and boil it down to 15 minutes a week that you should be actioning within our solution. So that's automation, and that's how you win your day back. But even if you compared you spending 5 or 10 hours versus technology doing it, technology should be able to cover more ground and have a bigger ROI for you.
Yeah, obviously. So how can people find your tool? How can they get in touch with you if they have further questions?
Yeah. So we decided to give every one of your users a free 30-day trial. So I'm going to be giving you, a link that we can share. Obviously, you can find me on LinkedIn, Jason Magee. Just type in Jason Magee, Teikametrics. Teikametrics.com takes you right to our homepage where you can actually learn a little bit more about what it is that we're doing. And yeah, I'm sure you'll be able to provide my contact info to the masses as well. So. And
if you want to watch the demo of Teikametrics software, look for the Demo Mondays Teikametrics video, which you will find in the description below. And thank you very much, Jason, and good luck in your business. Bye-bye.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks.